welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite tools. I've got a lot of TPMS tools here. I've tested a bunch more. Not all of them do I still have available, but I am not sponsored by anyone. No one is paying me to do this, so this is purely from my experience and my personal opinion. So let me share that first. But this is the Autel ITS 600. It's not the Pro. The Pro is an upgrade that you can do to anyone if you don't get the Pro initially, which I've done to this one. The Pro functionality gives you some additional features that are not fully TPMS related, more on the diagnostics and service function side. So under the service functions on this one, these are free updates, as the TPMS update on this tool also is free updates for the life of the tool. On the Pro functionality, you get a whole bunch more service functions, and then you get the diagnostic capabilities. So anyway, that aside, why this one is my go-to and favorite tool, one of the main reasons, so there's some beeping in the background, I'm updating one of these other tools, but one of the main reasons this is my go-to, there's a number of them, but is, I love wireless. I don't like being tethered to the OBD of the vehicle. I like to be able to walk freely around it. There's not too many of these tools that will do a wireless communication. This Bartech one does come with wireless as well, which is nice. I don't find that one quite as easy to maneuver and to get information from the IDs of the vehicle, but from OBD. But anyway, so a couple of the features that this one has that you won't find with common other TPMS tools, and I'll go into the TPMS. I've talked about some in my other videos. When you're using Autel sensors, I find it really nice that the tool I can pick any vehicle here. So just due to alphabetical reasons, I'm going to go into an Acura. It doesn't matter. So I believe this sensor is probably not programmed. Maybe I've programmed it just to test out, but one of the nice things about the Autel sensors, if you are using Autel sensors with these tools, the 508 will do it as well. This is a Wi-Fi, same thing. It's when you do the check sensor, you can actually, once it's in the wheel, you can actually read the voltage of the actual sensor, the serial number. You can get a lot of information from it. Okay, so I have programmed that one. Sometimes I'll program a sensor and then try and read it with other tools just to see if there's any issues. If any tools will have issues reading it, then sometimes I will look for another option of sensor. So anyway, here we are, 2.96 volts on that sensor. Gives you the ID and the serial number and all that information as well. So that's one of the nice things. This one will also do that. But the one thing that probably won't let me do it on here, I'll have to plug in and start the video plugged into a car, is the live data. So this is the only tool that I've found so far that will actually show you what the vehicle is seeing. So if you're trying to troubleshoot, or you're a programmer, and you want to see if the vehicle is communicating with sensors for certain, instead of the tool, even when you have a sensor that might be having an issue with an accelerometer, or it's dropping out or what have you, tool will usually read it. So the one thing that this thing will have, I've yet to find on any other tool, is it'll give you data from the vehicle OBD2 port, and it'll actually show you what the vehicle sees. Now, that's really helpful troubleshooting. I found some very interesting quirks from doing that. If you look at my other videos, the case 2, we had a 2024 Mazda, and it was a CX-50. It was programmed with new sensors. When we dropped the pressure, the vehicle was actually seeing pressures increase. And they peaked out about 50 point something PSI. Temperatures went off the charts, which you could also see from OBD. So now, in that case, this tool was reading that sensor fine. The Autel was reading it fine, the ATEC was reading it fine, this one fine, that one fine, but the Bartec was seeing funny results. So just goes to show you that there's some value in having multiple tools, but that live data from the OBD port I think is invaluable. Now also in this, when you have the full Pro functionality, sometimes the tool will have a TPMS module in the diagnostic capabilities, and you can see some additional information like historic faults. So you can see if you're having issues with all the wheels, or in some cases you might see that one wheel has had the last 5 events for TPMS alarms, and that'll point you towards a faulty sensor or something. So really helpful to have some of those additional features. The diagnostic capabilities is a subscription fee, but the TPMS functionality with the live data is not. So the other thing I really like about this tool as well, and there's different ways to do this one, but looks like the battery is low on that one. I have to charge it, but yeah, I'm gonna exit out. This OE information. So what this does is this gives you a complete list by vendor of part numbers. I'll pick one and go to support. So this shows you, looks like I didn't pick a very good one. It's a Tesla sensor. Looks like it works for Karma Rivero as well, but let's go back. Usually I don't get lucky just randomly picking one of these. Tesla again. What's that really long one? So anyway, you get the idea. You can actually check the sensor in this functionality as well. You can go to check, scan the sensors, you can program, but basically what this does is if you have a customer and they've got a set of wheels and they're asking you, are they compatible? You can, if they know what they're from, you can look it up. The other way to do that obviously is if they know the vehicle it's from, you program it into a sensor, you bring up the other vehicle that they're going to use it on now and try and scan the sensor if it's compatible. But having a lookup table for this and having the part numbers all in there, I've found to be quite valuable and helpful as well. So just some additional tools and tips. So this is one of my favorite features of this tool. You can see these IDs. I've connected the VCI down there to the OBD port right here, and I did the diagnostic, and these are reading the IDs from the OBD port. So this is what you'd get if you read it from the wheels to compare. It would show in green if they all match. I haven't read the wheels. It would also show pressures up next to each wheel up here. So one of the best features, and this is the only tool, TPMS tool, that I have seen so far that can do this, is this live data. And why? Because it'll show you what the actual vehicle sees from the OBD port, which tells you whether or not you're communicating. Now this is the Pro. I've upgraded this tool, as you can see with the little white sticky up in the corner there, but this isn't a requirement to have Pro to get this feature. The basic ITS 600 shows it. So here it is, and this is showing tire 1 pressure. This is the not adjusted value. This is, I guess, somewhat adjusted. I don't see any difference, but tire 2 and tire 3 air pressure and tire 4 air pressure, and if you have a spare, would be in his tire 5. I don't have, this card didn't even come with a spare, so it's just going to show a 0. And it also will show you the IDs on most vehicles. There it is. So it'll take a second to load. Tire 1 registered ID. Reception, yes. Oftentimes it'll actually give you the actual ID. This tells you the threshold of the warning pressure and when it will release. So that should be 25% lower than the placard value, which is typical. So I guess it's not going to give me the actual IDs here, but it does read it obviously from the ECU as I showed in the previous screen. So you can also plot these. So if you actually want to see if tire 3 is the wheel you expect, it'll take a minute to update. But if you go to over here, come on, and go to this graph. Not sure why it's having issues with here. I'm trying to hold the phone and do this at the same time. Let's try and balance it. There we go. Let's set up different things. Go back. Now it's going to give you a rolling plot with the pressure displayed. So if I were to go out and let air out of that tire, take a minute, but we would see that that pressure would go down. So that allows you to actually validate whether ID number 3 is the wheel you think it is, if you've written the ID to the right location. So sometimes you'll find the tools will write the IDs in a different order, or the vehicle's expecting them in a different order than the tool writes. I've seen that on a few vehicles, but anyway, really helpful feature for troubleshooting. The other thing I've also seen is temperatures, if it gives them here. Seen by the OBD port, I've seen in some cars that they go wonky when you're having issues with the sensor, and that's another indication that something's off with programming. So anyway, live data. Some of the other tools, I believe, can also do this live data function from Autel. You just have to look at the specifications. I know the 508 and the 508 Wi-Fi does not, but the 501 possibly does. The 601 or the 608 also probably do, and the TS900 I believe does as well. So just check out the specs, and it's live TPMS data. So very helpful feature for troubleshooting. This is why, one of the main reasons this is my go-to tool for TPMS. A couple other points worth mentioning on this as well is the Teslas. You know, the Tesla changed in 2020 for the Model Y, I believe it was, and 2021 for most other versions or vehicle models in North America to go to the Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz. So originally when I first got this tool, this functionality to read the Bluetooth sensors wasn't there, but Autel did start making the Bluetooth sensors. I actually have a couple of them, but the nice thing is that they made it an update for this tool. Obviously, with these VCIs, it already had Bluetooth capability, but to add that functionality in at no charge was quite a nice update. I was pretty excited about that. That allows you to start doing some diagnostics, you know, for the Teslas, being able to read if a sensor is good or not. The other nice thing too about these dongles, the VCI vehicle communication interface, is that they're compatible with some of their other tools. So I also have their KM100, which is a key programming tool, and there's also some other tablets that these can be used with. You can, you know, if you happen to have lost one of these and you're having interest in another tool, you could buy another tool to get the dongle and use it also with the ITS 600, so, or vice versa. So here's the ITS 600. Just check for updates. There's a few updates in here. It is extremely easy to get the updates. It's in the process of downloading these ones right now. Usually doesn't take very long on this tool, but I mean, it's all done via Wi-Fi. Just press the button and wait. And trying to look to see if we can look at the details. There we go. So it'll show you what vehicles the update applies to, and give you some information on what's being updated, which is quite nice. You can just select the one you want and walk away. You can put it in the screensaver mode. One touch on the side here is just a screensaver. If you hold it down, it asks you if you want to power it down. I think a lot of people get mixed up on that one. And when the screen goes off, they think the tool's off, but it isn't. So this one's just queued. But yeah, simple as that.